In the last video, we set up a script that creates a steady stream of exploding parts. Let's expand that script to make the parts fall in random places in our map instead of the same place over and over again. But before we dive into code, let's look at how positions work in Roblox. Now if we look at the position property of a part, we can see that it's made up of three numbers. These numbers describe how far away the part is from the center of the world. To help us visualize this, let's go into the View tab, click on Show Grid. This will show a grid over the world, and by default these lines are 4 studs apart. And you'll also notice that it puts these arrows coming out from the center of the world, which incidentally is where characters will spawn by default if you don't have spawn locations. Now if we move a part to be exactly over this point, we can see that its position is at 0, 0, and 0. And if we start to move the part, we can see that one of the numbers will either increase or decrease. So if we move the part along this red arrow, the first value, x, will increase. If we move a part up or down along this green arrow, the y will change. And last, if we move a part along this blue arrow, this will move the z. If you need help remembering which arrow is which, you can turn on Display Axis, which will show a little widget in the corner that shows which color corresponds to each axis. So how do we set a position of a part with code? Let's go back into our script and make some changes. To set the position of a part, we first type the part, in this case explosion part copy, then .position, then equals. Now whenever we set the position, we have to specify the x, y, and z values using this function vector3.new, and we have to type out the x, y, z values we want. For example, if we wanted to move the part somewhere over here in the world, we would want to set it in the positive x, positive y, but the negative z. Let's try the values, say 10, 20, and negative 10. And if we run our game, we'll see that the parts are now created over here. Now let's get a bit fancier and make our parts fall in a random position every time. Let's start by making a random value for the x. I'll first make a variable. I'm just going to call it x position. And then I'm going to set the value using the function math.random, which takes 2 arguments. In this case, we're just saying what the minimum and maximum values will be. So I'm just going to put negative 64 and 64. Now every time this math.random function runs, it's going to pick a number between the 2 values that you put in as the arguments. Now let's do the same thing for z. I'm just going to put it into a new variable. Now for y, I don't mind the part starting from the same height every time. So just at the beginning of my script, I'm going to make a variable for the drop height, and I'm going to just set it to 100. Now when we set the position, instead of setting it to these specific numbers, we can set the x to x position, y to explosion part drop height, and z to z position. And last, just to make things a little bit more exciting, I'm going to lower the wait in this loop down here to just 0.25 seconds, so the parts will fall faster. And if we run our game now, we can see that the parts are being created in random positions.